Black excellence. My melanin is an asset. I am capable. I am creative. I am worthy. I am perfect, just as I am. My black is good. Black is good. Black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is an asset. Your black is good. Black is worthy of love. Black is worthy of prosperity. Black is creation. Black is the beginning. Black is exceptional. Your black is civilization. Black is abundance. Black is valuable. Black is life. Your black is good. Black is beautiful. My black is an asset. My black is good. I am black excellence. My melanin is an asset. I am capable. I am creative. I am worthy. I am perfect, just as I am. Black is good. Black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is an asset. Your black is good. Black is worthy of love. Black is worthy of prosperity. Black is creation. Black is the beginning. Black is exceptional. Your black is civilization. Black is abundance. Black is valuable. Black is life. Your black is good. Black is beautiful. My black is an asset. My black is good. I am black excellence. My melanin is an asset. I am capable. I am creative. I am worthy. I am perfect just as I am. My black is good. Black is good. Black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is an asset. Your black is good. Black is worthy of love. Black is worthy of prosperity. Black is creation. Black is the beginning. Black is exceptional. Your black is civilization. Black is abundance. Black is valuable. Black is life. Your black is good. Black is beautiful. My black is beautiful. My black is an asset. My black is good. I am black excellence. My melanin is an asset. I am capable. I am creative. I am worthy. I am perfect, just as I am. My black is good. Black is good. Black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is an asset. Your black is good. Black is worthy of love. Black is worthy of prosperity. Black is creation. Black is the beginning. Black is exceptional. Your black is civilization. Black is abundance. Black is valuable. Black is life. Your black is good. Black is beautiful. My black is an asset. My black is good. I am black excellence. My melanin is an asset. I am capable. I am creative. I am worthy. I am perfect just as I am. Black is good. Black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is an asset. Your black is good. Black is worthy of love. Black is worthy of prosperity. Black is creation. Black is the beginning.
So Maliika and Malanya introduced me to the concept of creating a tarot deck for community, and I felt like I was all over it. I felt for a very long time I've always wanted to see cards with imagery that exemplified us and raised us up rather than have us in the background. And being a reader for like almost like 8 years now, I can hand pick how many decks felt like really true to myself. And for those who I read, we want it to be collaborative, both in imagery, as us as a collective, and in community. We said this in our opening statement, and I want to stress this entirely, that we believe that healing starts with community, co-creating it.
Basically, all of these tools and all of these spiritual technologies are ways to bring ourselves back to ourself, you know, ways to reintroduce ourselves to our own spirit, to our ancestral spirits. Raising the inner child to be your inner elder. Yes. And all Black people deserve that, you know, like we just, in general, just have not had the opportunity to reconnect to our ancestral lines and to like really take the time to like learn ourselves and like ground ourselves in,
especially
like,
given
the healing
like
practice.
Our ancestors are our biggest fans.
It is intrinsic to our beings as Black people, you know, our ability to heal ourselves. I think the cards will be a great tool, and I think the residency will help us connect to a larger audience and like really get the idea of holistic healing on the forefront of art making. Hi, my name is Maliika Nia-Imani.
Hello, my name is Blaise Sparda.
My name is Malanya Graham. And we are Dreamseed Collective. That was beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you. Just beautiful video. I hope you can hear me. Good evening. Oh, hey. Good evening, everyone. I'm Atoy Ramos Fermin, Director of Programs at the Laundromat Project, and he, him, his pronouns. I'm really excited tonight to be able to present the Dreamseed Collective as part of our Create Change residency open studio. And you'll learn more about our work. Go to our website, laundromatproject.org. And for the folks that are here already, that we met before, great to see you again. And if you're new to us, great to meet you. And so just a quick thing about the Laundromat Project. And so we're an arts organization that advances artists and neighbors as change agents in their own communities. We do this through our Create Change Artist in Residency and the fellowship programs, as well as creative community engagement, building initiatives, and public programs. And and about the Create Change program in particular, it's our flagship program that annually work with artists. It's an artist development program, including fellowship and the residency. And it's a support learning community of artists who are invested in developing critical community-based practice via workshops, coaching, guest speakers, peer support, among other things. And so just a quick engagement notes for tonight. So questions and comments, you can add them in the chat. We'll populate there, and then we'll go through them towards the end of the program as a Q&A towards the end. We'll get folks to be unmuted, sorry. And we'll make sure that this is being recorded so that you know. So if you don't want to be shown here on the video, just turn off your cameras. And let's see, and then there's also closed caption available. You can find them at the bottom of the screen on the menu. And then after this, we'll share this publicly on our YouTube channel, so you can learn and revisit after tonight. And so one thing we love to do, acknowledgement with the Laundromat Project respectfully acknowledges that we're in Brooklyn, the occupied and unceded lands of the Canarsie, who are part of the Munsee Lenape. We recognize them as the original stewards of this land and pay respects to the elders, past, present, and future. We acknowledge and offer deep gratitude to this Lenape land that supports us as we gather here right now together. And I invite you to join us, join me in the acknowledgement, the respect, and the gratitude, and showing the same for the land wherever you might be. And so, thank you. And so about the open studios, this is something that this is the third in a series of our Create Change Artists Residency projects. And this is an opportunity for the artists to share work that's currently in progress. You get a chance to talk directly with the artists and get a glimpse into their practices. And so this is with and amazing excitement that I would like to present the Dreamseed Oracle Deck, which is artists, as you heard before, the video, Blaise Sparda, Malanya Graham, Maliika Nia-Imani, that they created a Dreamseed Oracle Tarot Deck inspired by the artists, Black and people of color, queer ancestors, and holistic wellness practices. The artists will host virtual conversations and tarot relevance to generational collective healing and lead workshops on design, self-portraiture, adornment, and to inform the deck. And just a quick summary on the project, but I wanted just to hand it over to the team and Sparda. Thank you so for joining us tonight.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, sure. I think we should write this down.
Well, good.
I think during our
Other things.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Blaise Sparda.
I'm Maliika Nia-Imani. And I'm Malanya Graham.
And we're so happy to have you here at our open studio. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to teach you more about tarot and also share with you our altar making process, as well as our affirmation setting.
Right.
So with that being said, let's get the Tarot 101 out of the way. It is a little bit heady, but we're mostly going to be gleaning the most important parts of the PowerPoint for this one.
Oh,
Nice.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Tarot 101, Origins and Symbolism. Can I have the next slide, please? So what is tarot? Can I ask the collective? Everyone can unmute if they want. Oh, thank you. If you would like to answer the question, I would like to hear the audience interpretation of what tarot is. You can unmute your laptop or also write in the chat. Oh. No one?
I guess I'll go for it.
Okay, we got one from Emma. Symbolism to help us interpret the world. That's great. Anyone else?
I think tarot is a reading of what is before, what is now, and what is next.
That is great. So on that note, can we reveal what tarot is?
Someone said a set of cards that allows you to connect with spirit and speak truth. Love that.
Absolutely. All of these are such divine answers and perfectly on point. But for the sake of simplicity, tarot card reading is a practice of using tarot cards to gain insight into the past, present, or future by formulating a question, then drawing and interpreting the cards. And reading tarot is a type of cartomancy. Cartomancy is the use of playing cards or any type of other card to read your fortune or future. Right, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you so much. Right, so this is heady. Right, so tarot is first to have arrived from the 14th century Turkey to Western Europe as a Mamluk card game. By the 1500s, the Italian aristocracy was enjoying a game known as tarocchi appropriati. Thank you. Tarocchi appropriati, in which players were dealt random cards and used thematic associations with the games to write poetic verses about one another. Now, so like forget the next line. If you haven't played Match before, think of it as like old school and less gritty Cards Against Humanity. The idea was that you got these separate cards that create a sentence, and by which you can also tell a destiny or a lot to whomever was playing. It's from this idea that we get the idea that you can tell one's fortune from it. Now, the earliest decks were not designed with mysticism in mind. They were meant as a game, playing like bridge, and wealthy families in Italy commissioned expensive artist-made decks known as carte trionfi, or cards of triumph. These cards were marked with cups, coins, and swords, as well as polo sticks, eventually turned into long staffs. Cords consisting of a king and 2 male underlings were also added to these. Later, tarot cards incorporated queens, trumps, and wild cards, known as the Fool, to complete the deck at 78. The suit of cards is called a minor Arcana, and the 22 system is called the Major Arcana. May I have the next slide, please? So this is an example of the Tarocchi card. So as you can see here, the imagery is more voyeuristic, as in we don't feel invited into space. It's more about looking at the sumptuous gold and the rich detailing. These are pieces of art that families would hold for generations. They weren't very much interested in trying to connect with the day-to-day. This is more about status and symbol. Can I have the next slide, please? So tarot and divination. By the 19th century, with the introduction of the Rider-Waite deck, tarot began to be seen as a divinatory tool. The Rider-Waite deck reinvented the images while also creating a seamless visual narratives. Waite provided a book with esoteric symbolism attached to each card, allowing for more intuitive experience. Now, oh, can you hear us? Sorry. Oh, great. So I just saw some of your notes. I was making sure everyone could hear, but getting back into the onus of the Okay, so getting back into it. So Wade provided a booklet with esoteric symbolism attached to each card, allowing for a more intuitive experience. So let's keep in mind, everyone, there's a lot of friction between tarot historians and card readers about the origins and purposes of the tarot cards. The evidence is overwhelming that this was originally a game that eventually got adopted into Divination much later. And we'll get into that in the next part. Can I have this next slide, please? Thank you. So the attachments to mysticism. So this might get under everyone's skin a little bit, but what can we expect from white Europeans? By the mid-18th century, the mystical application for these cards had spread from Italy to other parts of Europe. In France, writer Antoine de Cheblon asserted that the tarot was based on a holy book written by the Egyptian priests and brought to Europe by the Romani travelers of Africa. In reality,
Does someone want to make a comment? Oh.
I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry, guys.
LP.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay, I'll go ahead now. So again, so I do want to specify that when I was doing my research, I used the G word, the G slur in reference to the Romani people. And Jablon in specifically thought that these Romani people were Egyptians and thus gave them the shorthand, the G word, and associated with them with African spiritualism because we had not found translations from the Rosetta Stone yet. It was not discovered until 1799. And unfortunately, European intellectuals at the time believed because Egyptian was so wasn't translated yet, it held ancient wisdom and major insights into human existence. So by taking this small lie, they kind of fashioned this idea that tarot came from Egypt when it had nothing to do with it, and also associated tarot with the Romani, although tarot predates the presence of the Romani in Europe entirely. So on this note, Cheblon had a contemporary, Jean-Baptiste Alliette, who wrote his prose work in 1791 called Atelier ou les arts de lire dans les cartes, meaning atelier or the art of reading cards. So Atelier Alliette built on this and made the book of, sorry, I lost my count, everyone. Atelier claimed that tarot cards originated with the legendary Book of Thoth, which is by all intents and purposes mythical, which supposedly belongs to the Egyptian god of wisdom. According to Atelier, the book was engraved by Thoth's priests into gold plates, providing the imagery for the first tarot deck. Drawing on these theories, Atelier published his own deck in 1789. And this is the first deck that was seen as a divinatory tool. So can I have the next slide to show everyone an example? So as you can see here, according to both Jablon and Alliette, they thought that these images were seen in hieroglyphics and heavily associated with Egyptian mysticism to sell to the European public. At the time, spirituality and spiritualism was seen as another oddity or something to be as an asset or entertainment. These images really have nothing to do with Egypt and have a really strong emphasis on the death figure because of the associations with the death and the dead body in Europe. Can I have the next slide, please? The major arcana. Major arcana cards are the most recognizable and impactful cards in the tarot deck. These 22 cards represent situations we all face in the grand scheme of life, with each carrying specific messages of perspective and guidance to help you in times of need, while the minor arcana cards focus on everyday actions and decisions you must face. These major arcana cards reveal messages about bigger picture of your life and its long-term direction. For each of the major arcana cards stands alone with its own deep meanings and influences. These 22 cards also tell a story. The first card, the Fool, is the main character of the story and his experiences as he learns, grows, and makes his way through life, as represented by the 21 cards that follow. The storyline is a great description of accomplishments, setbacks, and lessons we all learn as we go through the trials and tribulations of our lifetime, growing into whole, complete beings by the end of our journey. Can we have the next slide, please? So I want everyone to pay close attention to the imagery and the major arcana cards I selected here of the Fool, the Moon, and the Empress. If you would like to go back before or after this, these cards have more of a narrative to them. When you look at the imagery here, you're pulled in as well as you're like investigating what it could mean besides being a really pretty picture. For example, the Fool here is carrying his belongings to go on his journey, but he's also looking up, meaning he's optimistic and he has full opportunity. But in the same vein, he's also walking off a cliff, which is a subtle allusion to being mindful of where you're treading as you travel in your life. The Moon, being a reflection of the sun, is very strongly represented in the Moon card here, where the sun is right behind the moon, and it represents things that are hidden or may not be seen. It also influences your intuition and ability to see within oneself and your deeper emotions. And finally, with the Empress card, the heavy association with fertility, abundance, and richness makes her be the card of creativity as well as honoring the sacred center. Can I have the next card, please? The Minor Arcana. Minor Arcana cards address what's happening in your daily life. Small wins, struggles, interactions, and thoughts you face regularly. They can provide insight into past situations and help advise the decisions you need to make now to influence your future. There are 4 different card suits that make up the Minor Arcana: Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles. Every one of these suits contains 14 cards, 10 number cards, and 4 cards called court cards that include a page, knight, queen, and king. Each of these 4 suits represent a different area of your life, so you know where to direct this guidance when one of these cards shows up in your tarot reading. The Wands cards are about action, initiative, adventure, and energy. Help to guide how you move through your life and advise you when to take action and when to hold back. The Cup cards represent your emotions, intuition, and relationships. These cards can guide you in love and help you grow through understanding and processing your highest and lowest feelings. The Swords cards are all about challenges. They can tell you when conflict and heartache are looming and help you harness the strength of your own mind. The Pentacles tarot cards are associated with your work and finances. These cards can answer questions about your long-term goals and your money, family. I have the next slide, please. So these are some examples of the Minor Arcana cards. Again, you want to look at these cards as your daily life and who these people represent in your life. The Two of Cups here represents your relationships, whether romantic or deeply personal. Ace of Swords represents ideas coming in and the force of a clear mind. The Knight of Wands is a messenger that gives you news or gives you the hope to create the charisma and the energy that you need to move forward. And the King of Pentacles is the foundation creator, the builder, the businessman. Can I have the next slide, please? So I've arranged a pretty typical deck for us, a typical spread for us to read today. And we're going to go through each one. I'm going to point at the cards so everyone can see which one I'm talking about. Can everyone see? Great. So this type of spread is called the Celtic Cross, and it's the most traditional way of reading cards. This first card right here, the Wheel of Fortune, is in the present position, meaning it's affecting your life right now. What's your current occupation? Second card on top of it is your opposition card, and that is the Ten of Swords. So when we look at these 2 cards, we see this person who's getting all this opportunity via the Wheel of Fortune, but is dismayed or unable to see the opportunity because of the grief they're holding on to in the Ten of Swords. So now we must look in the past and figure out what exactly created this present right here. And that is displayed in the Three of Coins, which means a proprietorship or working with a group of people hard to make something work. And by the looks of it, unfortunately, it didn't go well, and this person is not getting their due. I say this because above them, the tower on their conscious mind means that they constantly want to try to reiterate and try again, keep trying the same thing over and over with this group of people. But no matter what they do, it falls apart. In the future, we have the devil, meaning obsessions and things that hold us back is our shadow self and things that we want to control but are unable to. Below that, we have the King of Swords, which is essentially the sober and rational mind trying to be logical, but also has a tendency to be foolhardy and wants things to go their way despite things not showing that it can. So these first 6 cards are basically a diagnostic that can tell you what's going on with that person, while the next 4 cards are telling you an advice on how to alleviate said situation. By the 6 cards, however, we can tell that this person is facing immense business and financial struggle because of decisions of being in a group that is not helping them, nor is lifting them on their own. Essentially, I would say that this is saying that this person needs to work on their own or change their working conditions, who they're with. The next 4 cards, the Death card at the end here is telling him he must change his life. He has to end everything he's doing right now and stop. The next influence card right here is the Ace of Cups, and that is telling this person all the emotion that you've been pouring into others, one must pour into themselves and hold their cup steady to them. So it's about self-love, self-reassurance, and self-nurturing. The Fears card right here, the 10 of Coins, is the fear of brokenness and the lack of abundance. And this is really what's stagnating this person here. When you have a reverse card, it means the energy cannot move because of a lesson you're refusing to see. When a 10 of Coins is reversed, it's showing that poverty is possibly an option, but it's also showing that there's a lack mindset going on with this person. And they're unable to create more bounty for themselves because they don't see what they have as being enough. Finally, the Queen of Swords is the more sober-minded of the Swords cards, where it makes decisions intuitively and clearly without being overbearing. This recommendation is essentially saying one must cut their losses and move ahead and be diplomatic about the situation. Can I have the next slide, please? So divination within POC spiritual systems.
The good part.
The cool part. Generally, I'm just going to be very upfront. Tarot is a very new facet of divination within BIPOC spiritualist systems. It came as a means of assimilation/religious syncretism to avoid persecution for their own modes of divination, including, but not limited to, cowrie shell readings of the Yoruba people or core readings of the pre-colonized Central America. As a result, imagery and terminology remain consistent with Western ideologies. With this in mind, there are culture-specific traditions of card readings, especially in post-colonial societies. Societies in the Americas. Oh, sorry, let me reread that sentence. With this in mind, there are cultural-specific traditions of card reading, especially in post-colonial societies in the Americas. So essentially what I'm saying here, if you guys ever seen the Loteria cards or the Baraja cards in your local bodega or anything like that, those cards are also a form of tarot, but their divination system is a little bit different than how tarot is seen. Everybody has a different way of reading cards in their ATRs, so there's no right or wrong way to read.
And what are ATRs?
ATRs are African traditional religious systems. Nice. So those are including, but not limited to, Lukumi, Ifa, as well as Candombles, Santeria, all of these. So they adopted these card systems because like their regular divination was a means of them being hurt. They can disguise themselves as just playing the game if they use cards. I have the next. Yay. So despite this long-held visual tradition in the cards, the use of tarot in queer and POC spaces has been visibly growing over the past decade. Members and artists of the tarot community are consciously working to create more inclusive spaces that feature these voices. Whether it's through visuals, representation, or approaches to readings, these different ways of combating the history of white supremacy and heteronormativity of tarot have been able to open up new avenues of healing and self-discovery for those within marginalized communities. This movement toward greater representation and its reconstructing tarot is reinventing and reclaiming our ability to perceive our narratives. So although we were kind of like dealt the shit end of the stick here, my language, where we were used as this mystical thing to basically peddle a product to their elite in Europe, we're allowed to take these spiritual tools now and reclaim it for ourselves and make it something that can be healing, rather than the bastardized idea of what culture was before it got discovered. In that, we're breathing and creating a new culture, because history is living. Thank you. Next card. Thank you so much for joining it, and enjoy our rest of our open studio.
That was excellent.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay.
I hope you guys learned a lot.
Yeah, so should we open the floor for questions?
Yeah, yes, I guess so. So,
Thank you, Jamisa. Thank you.
I'm so glad you guys learned a lot. So you're welcome to pick my brain as much as you want about anything that we just covered, or also any questions you have outside of that.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you, Tasha. I'm glad that it hammered home what I was trying to say.
Yeah. We want to encourage anyone who wants to, you can get off mute, speak to us. The floor is open for a couple minutes, and then we'll move on to the next part.
Right.
Or you can drop a question in the chat. You like?
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I had no idea where tarot came from before, so it was really just informative and helpful to understand. I was curious, and maybe this is the next part of the presentation, but I was curious, based on what y'all were talking about in the intro video, like, these images don't represent us, don't represent our histories, and just given now, I better understand the history where it comes from. Like, I guess, have you found other decks and ways and sort of different creators that are trying to, reinterpret this as you are, and sort of where have you found like communities that are thinking about thinking about this as you are?
Absolutely.
Oh, myself?
Yeah, sure.
I'll answer your question. All right.
Yeah. So yes, thanks. That's a great question. As Sparda said, like, this is a community that is continuing to grow in, like, with Black and Indigenous and POC people. Right now, the deck that I really love that's created by a Black femme person is called Dust to Onyx by Courtney Alexander. And she is, as I said, Black femme and also queer. So I think that's why that deck really resonates with me. Also, like, the art in the deck is reflects me as a Black person. Do you want to answer?
Also, I have a lot of decks, too many. And of the decks I have, I would say the most recent I got, the Dust to Onyx, is one of them that I would recommend as being inclusive, as well as the Jesse Jumanji Afro Tarot, as well as the Manzel Tarot. Those are extremely beautiful representations of Blackness that I wish that many more decks have. Like, finding a pretty deck is like a dime a dozen. Will it include Black people? Maybe not.
Right.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Right. That's why
there was one deck in particular that was absolutely stunning, but the only Black person was in the Devil card, and it was basically a Mandingo situation. It's kind of wild.
Right. Situations, it's like we'd rather not just don't.
Right. No, of course. Yeah.
It's just another way we're getting fetishized, unfortunately.
And then I'm curious, then, once you are using these different, like, what's that experience of reading and interpreting like? Like, how does that differ for you all as you're using these and finding these new decks?
Oh my. So through my my history of using tarot, I would say that depending on how your energy feels with the card, who you're using it with, certain decks are willing to tell you more than others are, and that depends on you and how you engage with something. I find that when there's less Black representation in a deck, I feel like I'm more critical of myself. in a way, or I feel like I can't attach myself to it as fully as I would with something else. I tend to prefer decks that have very like sparse or very like human-like imagery. So at least there's a person there and not like an ancient old symbol that has no bearing in my life. Like, I don't know what to do with a wheelbarrow. Why is it on my card?
Yeah.
I also have both of those decks, the Dust to Onyx deck and the Afro Tarot by Nia-Imani. I also wanted to, I guess, share another deck. It's called the New World Tarot by Christy Road. It's an amazing deck. It features like so many different communities and different abilities too. Like there definitely references neuroatypical people. Like it really like speaks to like the spiritual and also like emotional aspect to that thing. And for me, can we add? Yeah, we can add that. We'll write it in the chat. Oh, yes. I'll write that right now. But yeah, for me, I mostly read myself. I'm not like a professional tarot reader like Sparda, but I've been reading for a few years. And my experience has been just like forming a relationship with certain decks. Like some decks, I'll ask just specific questions. I use the Dust to Onyx Tarot a lot when I was going through like a huge transition in my life a couple years ago. And now I use mostly the New World Tarot work because like now I'm, you know, like fostering this really creative life and like really finding like a self determination aspect from that card or that deck.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for your question. Is there any other questions? Oh yeah, Tasha.
Hey y'all.
Hi.
Can y'all see me? I can't see.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Oh,
Tasha.
thanks, Hatway. Yeah, the pin. Jeez, y'all. Goodness. Well, thank you for the presentation. I definitely learned a lot. My question to you is, what does it mean to reclaim something that was originally started in Europe? Like that didn't have
That's a
us,
great question.
you know, because these are some of the things that I'm toiling with as far as reimagining and being clear around distancing myself from things that initially didn't care about my existence or my people's existence. So it's like, what does it mean to transform something that was initially for an elitist group, right? So I just had that.
Great question, we think. Yeah, that's important to say because like these card games are like, they originated for leisure, you know, and like but like, you know, Black people and darker skinned people were like not permitted leisure, you know, but like with that said, like as like history has gone on, I think what reclaiming originally, I guess, European practices means for us is just like realize that like one, we don't need permission, and two, like even though it's going to be an uphill battle, we are a reflection of like what's necessary in society. So like in the end, like whatever project or whatever situation it is, you're always going to find a community because there's always going to be people who want it. Right. I would say that my insistence in getting into tarot was a form of rebellion from organized religion specifically. I wanted to have like something that was more like personal to me and something that I can transform. That's why we're creating this deck. As for something that was created in Europe and was basically like kind of like bastardized off of like ideas of what Egyptian religion was, I would say in a way that because of the association, they created this kind of fantasy around us, we're allowed to readopt and actually make it the real thing now, since they're no longer have any bearings of it. As far as we know, tarot has always been kind of associated with like esoterics and the occult and like with brown folk, with the Romani in particular. And that's something they can't really come away from. So why not reclaim something that was falsely given to us and make the new narrative that we want to say about it, instead of like, you know, putting our heads in the like sand about trying to hide like we can't run away from the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about art making and divination tools of Black and Indigenous folks. And yes, while tarot does have its roots in European culture, you know, like I'm thinking about the ways that Europeans have, like as Sparda said, like bastardized a lot of our, and when I'm saying our, I'm talking about Black people.
Yep.
A lot of our art and like a lot of our symbolism, and also like taken away from us, the things that we traditionally use to survive and also to connect with our own spirit. So yeah, thinking about that and like thinking about the ways that we survive, and like I think this is another tool, another way to connect, another way to say like, yes, like this is ours, because you know, like at the end of the day, like this is something that our ancestors used to survive. Card dealing and like playing cards. Like I can remember, like as far back as I can remember, you know, like playing cards is part of my culture.
Right. Like I could remember my grandmother using playing cards to give people readings.
Exactly.
And it was just, no, like, what do you mean? Like,
Right.
there's no written history of us using cards or anything like that.
Mhm.
We're not sure where tarot really came from or where that symbolism came from, because unfortunately for us, a lot of Black people's accomplishments have been erased by supremacy.
Mhm.
And in a way, you can see tarot as being like the divinatory answer to like cultural or religious erasure, because we weren't allowed to use cow readings or corn readings or whatever we had.
Mhm.
We kind of just subsisted and used these as like a stand-in, like how we do with saints for the orishas.
Yeah, that was a great question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, y'all. Listen, I'm Haitian, so I'm all down for a recommendation. Okay, let's take it on. Okay. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Should we move on to showing some of the actual art that we've made so far?
Yeah.
So good lead-in.
Yeah.
We had our first photo shoot April 30th, which is exciting, and we took photos of 6 of our first cards of the major arcana. So that's what we're going to show you. They're unedited, but surprise, surprise, it's open studio, so you get to see. So I think we're sharing our screen this time.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Here. Okay. Maybe sharing the screen. Here we go. And can everybody see what I'm seeing? You can just drop in the chat. Yes or no. Yes, perfect.
Wonderful.
All right, so these are for sure unedited pics, but we're gonna get right into it. Let's the videos. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's see. So this is our good friend Sky, and they modeled for the card The Universe here. Let's see.
I do want to say that this outfit they're wearing was completely last minute. We found it in my closet and made do.
Yeah, and we created all of these sets on the same day. And it was a really great time. Okay, how do I get out of here?
Close that.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, I think this one.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love.
So eventually we'll be editing these photos and printing them on cards. Oh, let me know if I'm going too fast. Probably am. One of the important parts of the universe card, which is also the world card, it's usually on the. No, it's okay.
So on that card, in any deck you find something very like there's a through line throughout all these cards. It's the same card in different decks. So the world card, there is a circle, whether it's like a snake or like a ribbon, and it creates just like encompassing the figure on that card. So what we did here is use the blue fabrics to create a sort of like ocean surrounding sky as the world.
Right. All right, gonna move on to the next. The Empress, featuring our very own Malanya. Let's see, video first.
This is such a beautiful set.
Oh,
It looks so
I want to go
luscious.
back in time.
I don't think I have a video. Okay, so this is the Empress card. And right, Malanya is featuring as the Empress. Do you guys want to talk about the card a little bit?
Yeah. So the Empress is all about bounty, creativity, and abundance. We can say they because it's neutral, but the Empress represents honoring the sacred space and allowing it to create what your wildest imagination wants of it. It is fun-loving, it is nectarous, it's juicy, it's dripping in honey.
Right.
The Empress is all about like hedonism almost, but in a way that is almost self-worshiping and self-respecting.
And we tried to capture that with all of the fruit, the flowers, just trying to create a very lush atmosphere for Malanya. And then I don't know if you guys can see the fetish here, also holding a flower to Melanya's right. These are a little bit darker.
That's the right, but the African symbolism here is also tying into the motherland and also seeing the mother as a protectress, the Empress, because they create and sustain life. I do want to like specify that there's a lot of womb associations with the Empress, and you're allowed to see that as that, but your womb could be literally anything. It could be your heart, it could be your womb, it could be anything, your mind. The womb is a place of creation. It does not have to do with an organ. So instead of saying womb though, we choose to say sacred center. It's giving me African on you. Love it.
All right, we're gonna be going to the High Priestess now, featuring Sparda, our very own Sparda. So the High Priestess is the other side or the other coin of the Empress. You can see still very lush, but a little darker in tone.
It is more reserved. This is about intuition and observation. Think of the High Priestess as the owner or the place between two knowledges. She has hidden knowledge behind her and no knowledge in front of her, both of which she offers you. But she's also saying these belong to you and are within you.
There we go. Another video.
So I do want to also point out the veiling imagery here. The High Priestess is supposed to be a neutral figure. When they show up in your reading, it means you have to check in with your inner self and your mind, because your guiding force or your conscious is calling for you. It is a feminine card, but it remains something that is more of a overseer, outsider, someone who looks over the world and its machinations. Love that.
Yeah.
I also really like how pensive it looks. The energy is different.
From the Priestess to the Empress.
Yeah. They really do look opposite. You didn't mean to do that.
Hey, the emerging one, or the Soul.
This is probably like one of our favorite sets for that day.
Yeah.
Because our treasured friend Rumi and their dog joined us for this.
And as you guys remember in the beginning of the tarot presentation, the Fool card has a dog in it. So like we're trying to have all these elements that match up with typical tarot decks, but then like twisting it and making it queer, making it black, making it you know, whatever it is that we are.
So the dog usually in the card represents the companion, whether that be a spirit or a person by your side. But the dog is about playfulness and also responsibility, because you are to take care of the pup. The companion can also be seen as an aspect of the self that is growing with the person.
I don't think I have any videos of Romy here.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. But these are
Oh, such joy.
yeah.
What a handsome man.
The Fool is generally a joyful card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we have the Sun featuring our very good friend Cobella.
And the sun is all about the joy of life, happiness in its most tiny form.
Mm-hmm. Yes, true joy.
It's a picnic on a sunny day.
I also feel like in those beginning pictures, I saw like a sense of curiosity, a sense of like
wonderment.
Yeah, like,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
I'm trying to
amazing.
this video.
Stunning, stunning, stunning.
Oh, let's see.
That was probably
Oh, you're good.
look at her face.
Cobella as
Like literally
Sun.
flawless. And we wanted this to be seen as someone who was very invested in the queer community and who was invested in themselves and has been so expressive about their own joy. So I find this card represents Co very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Cobella is literally a ray of sunshine.
Right.
You just showed just a few more of Cobella as the Sun. Trying to kind of. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Stunning.
There she is.
I also wanted to add the halo to this piece because of the associations with holiness and the Virgin Mary, but make it gay, like make it gay. I've always had a strong attachment to the Mater Dolorosa, or the Mother in general, so I'm glad we got to show this in our cards.
Mm-hmm. And then this is a little bit of the set that was created for Cole's card of the Sun. There's a few shots of that. Yeah, chat box is blowing up, but
Whoa,
we have
everyone.
one more.
We have one more, and then we're gonna see all your wonderful things.
All right, this is the Wheel of Fortune featuring Malcolm.
The Wheel of Fortune is about taking your opportunities and making it something abundant. It's a change of direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See if we can get something.
I know this. Yeah.
Mhm.
So our main focus for this was the abundance factor and the ability to be like an alchemist, someone who can be transient and adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that my friend Malcolm is one of those people.
Yeah. I know that we also wanted to make sure we had circular elements in there. So we have the mirror, we have the circles on the actual cloth, the fruit in there, and the coins on the ground. I'm not sure if we can see that.
We can add that.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And the Wheel of Fortune also includes all the elements in there. Typically in the regular deck, you have strong associations with the with the Gospels of the Bible,
Mhm.
but we didn't work that. So we put vegetation, things that meant sea, things that meant
Mhm.
earth, things that meant water.
We'll add some things that mean fire. There we go. This is Malcolm. That's the Wheel of Fortune.
Almost looks like a shaman.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all of our people. Right.
Yeah, and that was our shoot on April 30th. I'm gonna stop showing. There it goes.
Oh, the colors are everything.
Thank you.
Oh dear. Okay.
Coming.
Tasha.
How did you cast folks?
Well, we wanted to be safe because it's COVID, and we shot all of our friends first. And we'll be going through that list, but we also have a chalk form if you guys are interested in being one of our cards. The only like prerequisite is being queer. That's it.
And black
And
or a person of color.
queer and person of color. Yes. Yeah.
We'll share that form and like our flyers for our upcoming photo shoots right at the end of this.
Mm-hmm. We would also like to know what card that you would like to be. So I heavily implore you to please look into cards after this. Ask me tons of questions. I'll give my Instagram after this. And yeah, we'll hope to see you.
All these. Yeah, thank you everybody for all these comments.
We're so excited to make the deck.
Yeah, we are.
Yes. We all have Venus placements. We would not have anything not pretty.
Exactly.
So how
Had
many
a quick
cards will you do in total? Like how many? Remind me. I know you gave us the lesson, but remind me.
So there are 78 cards in a tarot deck. There's 22 major arcana cards, and those are going to have people.
Mhm.
The minor arcana may have some people in it, but we're not really focused on figures for the minor arcana.
Yeah, so we're gonna do our best to.
So the total of the deck will be
78 cards. We are going to do our best to feature as many people as possible because we want our community to be fully featured in the cards, but for the major.
Yeah, you definitely want that to be as people of color centered as possible.
Yeah. And yeah, you can ask Laura any questions. I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, my name is Dakema.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm currently reaching out from Georgia. I think I had two questions. The first one was, so one of the complications that I have had as a tarot reader is not just like the lack of Blackness in the decks, but also just the way that the gender binary has been baked into tarot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What ways that you all were planning on contending with that, if at all? Especially because I remember you mentioning earlier that the High Priestess was a feminine card, and that kind of language around like feminine or masculine can be kind of baked into the gender binary. So I was wondering.
I understand that.
And then I was also wondering, is this not a Black specific deck, but it's one that includes people of color?
Yeah.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Those
Well,
are my questions.
so to combat the gender normativity, when we say feminine, I we should probably change it, but feminine in our interpretation has always been gender neutral. It just means more receptive or creative. But I understand that that language can be kind of like dismissive to someone who is trying to get into it for more inclusion.
More about your collaboration.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we're going
Oh,
to share
right.
that towards the end.
Right. But what do you have to say
About
using words like feminine? We don't plan on using gender specific language with any of the cards, but if we're talking about the energies, we plan on using language like receptive or projective instead, if that would be easier or more like digestible for folk. There's a lot of like narratives or like lots of like infighting in the spiritual community about the nature of using feminine versus masculine because of the attachment to gender specific language.
Right.
So it's really up to the person who is reading it, how they feel about the word feminine.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Trying to avoid gender specific language, and also like realizing that like the terms like feminine and masculine Dan does like talk more about their language that we can use. Framework around gender and the binary.
Oh,
Well, we're all non-binary.
well, we're all queer, non-binary, trans folk. We're not going to be using language like he, she. It's mostly going to be they. In terms of the cards, though, we're working with an archetype and we're just changing the names to be more inclusive of peoples within our space. Like, for example, the Fool, we're going to call it the emerging one instead to disassociate with the narratives around being like minstrelsy, I guess. We didn't want that. With the Empress card, we didn't want it to be kind of like, we didn't want that to come out as a mammy type. We wanted it to be more of a queen type. And we wanted to show strength in that role, and that role could be feminine or masculine, if that makes sense. That's why the Empress had the little figurine of the warrior next to them.
Right. Also, I guess to wrap it up, when like in our photo shoots that are coming up, we are specifying like that we want folks who are people of color, who are queer, who are like different gender experience, who are transgender, who are two-spirit. So we're like really being specific of who we want to be in our cards, because that will determine how the whole project turns out. So like the people who are part of it are going to be the part and how we discuss each card and like each meaning of the card in the deck book.
That was very well said.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that question.
You come up. Welcome. All right. Do we have
Okay. Well, does anyone have any other questions about this, about our shoot, about the work that we've done, or anything coming up? Oh yes,
Yeah,
Zeely.
hey Zeely.
Hi, Zeely.
Can we get Zeely on the screen?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi,
Zeely.
Thank you so much for these beautiful, beautiful pictures in this wonderful project. I just have you thought about like what the cards are gonna look like?
Yes,
absolutely. Sun card, like how is it gonna be laid out? Or am I just asking too many questions?
Not at all. We have done a lot of research around what we want our cards to look like. We're going to be doing a lot of collage art using Photoshop. So the shoots that we just showed are basically, and the pictures are the very raw footage, and then we'll be editing those pictures, layering on top different elements and aspects of each card to create the final product.
So I wouldn't say that we're copying them exactly, but if you look at just Jumanji's deck or Danielle Noel's Moonchild Tarot, that's similar to what the vein we're trying to go into, where we have the figure cut out of the, like the set cut out and then blended into like a seamless landscape.
Yeah, and this will also help us like have a sense of continuity, like stylistically in each through each card, through the major arcana and the minor arcana.
Thank you so much for asking a question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions before we move on? That's wonderful.
So, we are going to, the next part of our open studio is going to be a community altar making session. So we're going to be doing this on Zoom, so it's going to be a little bit different, and we're going to be setting up for the next minute. So just give us that.
All right.
How would you like to clean it? Yeah. That's too bad. Hi, can everybody hear us? All right. Hi, guys. Okay, I'm going to that. Is that good?
Our heads
It's
are
just like this. That's cool. Okay.
I mean,
I
our
can see the
legs
table.
are
You want to sit down? Sit. Raise it out.
You want to sit? Because you're presenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is perfect.
Is there anything else I could get you?
A glass of water.
I'll get it. I'm gonna go get you some rum.
Are you on? Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. They're running around getting some more materials. But here's our small community altar that we are building today. I'll just walk you through a few things. So an altar is meant, if you have an altar, when you have an altar at home, the most basic altar is to your ancestors, so your dearly departed family members, or even like people from your community who may not be biologically connected to you, but like how the queer community really loves and appreciates Audre Lorde and Octavia Butler and Marsha P. Johnson. So they are also our ancestors. So we start with a piece of cloth on the table. When I make my altar at home, I have either green cloth or white cloth. White is customary because white attracts good spirits. But here we have like a really celebratory piece of cloth. Really nice. We're first going to light the incense. I usually say a silent prayer, so I'm doing that now. And if you're at home and you're near your altar, you know, feel free to add something onto it or burn some incense along with me too. So now the incense is burning. And the water in the middle. The water also attracts our good ancestors and also nourishes them, hydrates them. Because ancestors are still on a journey, you know, even if they're not in physical form, they're still on a journey. So they still need water, they still need food, which is why we feed our altars when we can, to our best ability. Adding some crystals here. Maliika is more of an expert on crystals, but I also like to have them here. So here's some crystals. This is Sparda's. It's actually a skull. It's really great. But yeah, you can put things that you love, that you're drawn to, on your altar. Do you want me to talk a little bit about the crystal? Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So this is a quartz crystal, and this is Sparda's quartz skull crystal for the ancestors that we don't know, the benevolent ancestors that we don't know. I have this smoky citrine quartz here for grounding, rose quartz here, and jade here for jade is more for intuition, and rose quartz is for love. We can also mean romantic love or self-love. This is another quartz here, which can be used for grounding, can be used for setting intentions, and these are all really nice for your altar. One is having beautiful.
So I'm just giving them a quick smoke cleansing. I typically like to cleanse things before I put them on my altar, either with smoke or with some Florida water or holy water. I just spray them And crystals, I'm sure a lot of you know, you can charge them either under the moon or the sun. So these are some really good. We have the next part. This is Florida water, unopened, but we have the stuff. So this is some rum, meeting our ancestors. So all three of us have Caribbean ancestors. Caribbeans love rum. We're gonna give them some.
Something that I do when I'm working with my altar is like pour some for my ancestors and then also have a drink with them. Yeah, just like a really nice way to, connect.
I sometimes smoke with my ancestors. So yeah, like spending time on your altar, with your altar is really important.
It was a new moon yesterday.
Yeah, in Taurus, moon in Taurus.
Which is our moon.
Our moon is in Taurus.
Very powerful.
I'm a Taurus.
Yes. Yeah. Gang. So I have the kit. Is it really? Yeah. So when I'm at home doing my own altar, I have a ritual for my candle, no matter what color it is. Like I said, white is customary when we're making an ancestor altar. But a lot of people are different. Sometimes you have practitioners who don't really place much emphasis on the color of the candle. So green could just be like for abundance, for like energy, creativity, good luck, healing. Yeah. I do a color system. So like when I have a green candle on my altar, I'm focusing on like my finances, my wealth building, and like really focusing on like abundance. Not but yes. So I'm gonna light the candle, and then I'll show you our singing bowl.
Our ancestors are overseas.
Yes. Some tobacco. Like I said, sometimes we smoke with our ancestors, we drink with our ancestors. It's like similar to when they're alive, you like spend time with them and like, getting real comfortable. You're at dinner. After the dinner, you stay for another couple hours. Things are flowing. So this is like the kind of relationship that you want to keep with your ancestors, even as they're gone. Oh, so my candle ritual, as I was saying, no matter what color it is, I take off my sticker, wherever I got it from, I take that off. I run it under some warm water, then I run it under cold water and speak my intentions aloud wherever I am, make sure I'm in a private space. I speak my intentions, lighting that new candle, what I want to focus on for the next week or two. The candle is burning. And like as I wash it off with cold water, just cold water, like no soap or anything. And then I just like kind of like hit it to like infuse it with my ashe, and then I light it. Our singing bowl, we have a beautiful flower in here. I would love to know if anyone here has a singing bowl. Oh, someone has one. Aisha has a singing bowl. Thank you. You're welcome. And now, arguably the most important part of your altar is having photos of your loved ones. I just posted, I got two posts. Figure and Marsha, honoring them today.
On my altar at home, I have a photo of my grandmother. Our grandmother passed last summer. Sparda was generous today to offer a photo of one of their dearly departed queer ancestors. If you want to share about that.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. This is my ancestor, Robert Rivaro. He passed away untimely at 30 years old because of a hate crime. And he was one, if not the only out person in my family, and also a source of comfort for me because he was not judgmental and very free with his. It's hard to talk about it. He was very free in his interpretation of being queer, and he made me feel less of a monster, quote unquote, because of my queerness. It was very accepting and freeing, and he allowed me to see my purpose as something different and not something that was a demerit. I honor him by offering him libations and money, and also pray for all of our ancestors who have departed before that they wanted to, or because of injustice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pass it up. Here's some examples of we can use as ancestor money. It's just sheets with like silver and gold on them. You can write notes, and if it's a practice, you write the note and then you burn it, either in a cauldron or just like on a sheet of aluminum, and burning it sends the message to your ancestors. Yeah. And that's it for a little mini altar making session. I know we ran through it, but thank you.
It's very simple.
Okay, I think that is it for activities.
Maybe
I just have a
The one card for the
Oh,
yes.
well, does anyone have any questions about altar making, community altar making, anything that you want to say? Thank you so much, Agundi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Agundi.
No questions for altar making. Feel free to, come on stream. But
Or drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome to. We also want to like specify that you can create your altar anywhere you want.
Of course, yeah.
You don't need to have alcohol if you don't want alcohol.
And honestly, like you are your own living altar. Like you come from your ancestors, and like, like your benevolent ancestors are very proud of you no matter what. And
They're your biggest fans. They want to see you move. So don't feel bad if you haven't seen your altar in a little bit.
It's always the right time.
Whenever you go.
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so we're going to go off screen for 1 minute so that we can take this apart. We'll put it to the side.
You just transition to the end. Sorry.
Where is the
Hi, everyone. So we're going to be moving into the last activity of our open studio of the evening. We're going to be doing some one card pulls for you. And a one card pull is, honestly, it's basically just exactly what it sounds like, really. You, Sparda is cleansing their cards and cleansing themselves with some sage. And then we're going to be each pulling one card from each of our decks. I'm using the I Am Everything affirmation card deck created by Tarisha Clark, who's a Black woman. And this is a really amazing deck if anyone is interested in like affirmation work as self-work. I really love it. Do you want to talk about the card, the deck?
So my card is the Shamanic Healing Oracle card by Michelle A. So I believe they are part Latino. And these cards are more about inner healing and offer very simplistic imagery and deep advice. I prefer to read my own interpretation of these cards, but the booklet that I come with is also extremely informative.
And what deck are you using? I'm using the Whispers of Healing deck. Artwork by Josephine Wall and interpretations by Angela Hartfield. So what I like to do before I begin this is to really just ground myself, take some deep breaths, allow myself to connect to that inner voice that is my intuition, connect to my core. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to shuffle the deck. And sometimes I ask a question, but right now I'm not. I'm just going to pull a card and focus my intention on really grounding my energy and what I want, my goals, aspirations. Different cards here. I'm gonna pull a card. And the card that I pulled is I Am Grateful. It's a little bright, yeah. Okay, it's all right. Well, it says I am grateful. We'll see the art a little bit.
Reflect.
Yeah, I know. This is number 15. It says, I realize that what is right about my life outnumbers what I perceive to be wrong about my life. I choose to focus on what makes me feel good. I'm grateful. And yes, that is absolutely true. And as an affirmation, that's one of the affirmations that I use constantly for myself, really focusing on gratitude, and focusing on the abundance of love and opportunity in my life that just sometimes is so overwhelming. I'm just like, wow, how is this even happening? All these people that I have in my life really love me and care about me. I love and care for myself, and I'm so grateful. Even just to be here with all of you that is on this Zoom call. Yeah, just really, I'm extremely grateful. And this is an amazing card to pull.
So I also have a very similar process, but I wait for the moment that there's silence in my mind to start drawing. And that moment has approached. So my card draw is integration. So integration for me is how do you apply and receive the lessons that you've already been taught into yourself to grow into the next day. I would say I'm very much in this process where I've been looking for the answers, but the answers are with me more than anything. It's about how can I apply what I have learned and grow. And I feel that this process of being in this collective as well as completing this open studio has given me the alleviation so I could pursue those goals.
Love that.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream seed. Okay. Drop the links for all this. Yeah, we'll definitely drop the links. And I think it's possible we can get everyone's email, whoever attended, and just like send you all the decks we mentioned. So I've been shuffling while Sparda and Maliika playing. I'm gonna do my quick. So this is an oracle deck, which is a little different than a tarot deck. An oracle deck doesn't follow the major arcana or minor arcana rules. It just gives you like advice through like a word or a couple words and imagery. So it's even more of an exercise in your intuition, but it's also really simple for like a beginner to use these cards. I like to shuffle and spread it out. Deck. Yeah, the back is gorgeous. And I just pick whichever one calls to me. Oh, learning. The card that I got was learning. I'm not sure. Well, it's fine. So the card I got was learning, and that definitely resonates with me. Like even today, I feel like I've learned so much with, like, of course, with Dreamseed, but also about myself. Kind of like what Sparda was saying, like this project has really like helped me get more in touch with my goals and more in touch with like the actions that I need to take to do that in my personal and professional life and like creative life. And yeah, like I've been reading more, writing more, like learning is definitely something that resonates, and I'm glad I pulled it. Because even like part of learning is teaching. I feel like today we taught you guys a lot and we learned a lot of our community. So yeah, part that I pulled.
Also, I just read the interpretation of my card via the book, and it said that we allow the projections of others' success to cloud our own. Think about the voice inside of you and what they want to do, and not what they expect you to do. I feel like that was very poignant for me. I often hear my successes and my struggles of others. Not saying that others are worse or better than mine, but I should be a different place. And this card is reminding me that I am exactly where I need to be. And it's just about finding what I want to do.
Right. Yeah, even though all of our paths are intertwined, they're also still very much our own, you know? Reading like that. That was a good reading.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That wraps it up. We just want to share a few things like our upcoming events.
Yes, and our collaboration with Rio Circle.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Lisa is still here, probably not. But Lisa Eddy was on this call today with us, and she is the director of programs from Rio Circle. And Rio Circle is a community organization for LGBT elders, Black and POC LGBT elders, and we're going to be collaborating with them for this project, and we're very excited. A few things that we're going to be doing are some tarot readings. We're going to be doing some art making projects, some intentional beading work, kind of also just hanging out with our LGBT elders, maybe doing photo shoots. Hopefully some of these workshops will be intergenerational, so some of folks, the younger folks here who are on this call, can maybe reach out to us if they're interested also in working with Third Circle and like connecting and learning from our peers, like I think our LGBT.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, like that.
Yes. So we have some flyers that we shared with LP. Is it possible to have them on the screen? Just one is a list of our upcoming seed tables, series of tables, round tables.
Our next one will be on May 21st, and I'll be heading that one with Courtney Allen with us to Onyx Deck, as well as Jesse Jumanji of Afro Tarot.
Yes.
So exciting.
So we will be sharing our Black experience within tarot as readers and as creators, as someone, as two people who created their own decks and someone in the process. I'm very excited to see all of you there. I hope there's a big turnout.
And then the other part is our upcoming dream shoots, which is the juicy part, which is where we take photos of our community and make you a card. That flyer is coming up on the screen soon.
The flyer for, yeah, here we go.
Upcoming dream shoots.
There we go. So June 4th is our next one. You see the link on the screen. You can start signing up now if you'd like. Yes, Juneteenth special. We're going to be at Reese Beach. Just keep a lookout on our Instagram. Like, you'll get all the details there. I'm sure we'll set up an email list at some point, but right now it's just check our Instagram, sign up at that link. We'll share that link on our Instagram as well. But yeah, our dream shoots and our seed tables, that is going to be happening while we go through this process of making our deck. And hopefully we just, create a bigger and bigger community.
Yeah, and our Instagram is Dreamseed_Collective. So definitely check us out on Instagram, follow us, keep up with our work, hopefully also collaborate with us and,
Also, we can't wait to create this. Finally have it in your hands. So we would love to see the feedback, and we can't wait to continue this journey. Just follow us on all of our Instagrams.
Yeah. Thank you for your support and share all our posts, and we can't wait to see you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or anything else you want to pop up and say before we wrap up?
Oh, thank you, Cami. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamisa.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamisa.
Yeah. Thank you. This was so amazing.
Thank you so much. Just give a hand. Show your love with the reactions. I see a lot of love coming through the chat. So
You sold out.
there's a lot of interest. Amazing. So thank you so much. I want to thank Sparda, Malanya, and Maliika for this educational, powerful, and inspiring open studio. We appreciate that all this journey that you took us through, and really, really excited about what's coming on the pipeline with the workshops, with the actual deck. And so, stay tuned, follow the artist, follow the LP on social media, just to, keep up to date with the project. So thank you so much. We hope to, and so we hope you had a chance to, connect more with our work. I want to thank the LP team that made today possible. Lady Sasha Jones, our artist engagement manager, Emma Colon, our storytelling manager, Julia Mata, storytelling fellow, our captioner, the rest of the team. Really thank you so much to our funders and our supporters to make this work. We can't do this without you. And I want to just, thank everyone for your presence, for being here with us, for sharing your time and your space with us. There's some upcoming programs on the screen, so just stay tuned for more from our programs coming up. And so, yeah, want to wish you all a wonderful night and a restful evening, and up to the next one. Thank you. And shout out to the artists.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you. Have
so
a great
much.
night.
Hey, love y'all. Bye.
Love
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye. That was amazing.